Half Shell Oyster House offers happy hour at the bar and throughout the restaurant every day from 3 to 6 p.m. Happy hour includes $2 off all glasses of wine, liquor, martinis, mixed drinks, and draft beer, $2.50 on all domestic bottled beer, and $3.50 on all craft bottled beer. So come on out to Half Shell Oyster House, located at 115 Lower Park Cove, Suite 105, Flowood, Mississippi 39232, or you can give them a call at 769-257-7586. And hey, tell them Sonia sent you.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Please welcome back the usual suspects, former NFL players Cedric Donaldson and Jameion Spencer. What's up, nutcases?
Not much, hanging.
Good time to be alive, man.
Absolutely. Guys, I am taking a little healing, so you hear my voice. Just give me some grace. Do not make me laugh, Cedric. Jameion.
I'm not doing it.
Please don't. How y'all doing? How was your day today?
Long.
It's been busy.
Yeah.
These last few weeks have been busy.
It's been really busy. But look, who's ready for JSU, baby?
Uh-oh.
Who's ready?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hot.
I like it.
I am so ready. I'm so glad it's football season. So, guys, we're just gonna get right into it. So, the biggest story in the NFL right now, as you know, is the debut and season-ending injury for New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry, Aaron, eyes like Jesus Rodgers. As you know, Rodgers made his debut on Monday in Monday Night Football against the Buffaloes, and he almost immediately went down. Tore his Achilles, is that correct?
Yes.
Tore his Achilles.
However, the Jets pulled it off in overtime against Buffalo 22-16. The Jets have a lot of faith in Zach Wilson and will not be reaching out to retired phenom Tom Brady or Colin Kaepernick. It was reported that Kaepernick his agent actually reached out to them. So, I mean, all he can do is keep trying. All they can do is say no.
Yeah.
So, said, with the incident, with the injury, you were a former team. That's your former team. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
With this injury with Aaron, how does it look for the Jets right now?
About the same as last year. You know, I mean, Zach Wilson has a year of experience, but I'm happy they won because it was like grand opening, grand closing, like soon as but for them to really endure and get past that injury and get the life back into the team, that shows signs, man. But man, that division gonna be crazy this year, man. Mm-hmm. If Miami keep up what they got going, New England, they look decent against Philadelphia. And Buffalo, you know, my boy not gonna throw a 1,000 picks a game, man. So I know it's gonna be rough on them, man.
Jay?
Yeah, no, I agree. And but I'm gonna tell you this much. I actually can appreciate things happening the way that they have. I think for them in that division this year, they're gonna have to have their defense, and their defense played lights out, right? Yeah. And I think we saw a little bit of that last year with those young, hungry cats they got over there between that D line and their defensive backfield. I almost think it was the jolt they needed to really reconfirm with themselves that they are more than just a name, you know. And don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers coming to that squad was phenomenal. But to be honest with you, Zach Wilson this year will be a little more prepared and I think hungry. You've got two monsters in the backfield. Like, look, I don't know where Priest Hall came from or anything like that. We saw glimpses of him last year. but between him and Dalvin Cook, that's the two running back you need to survive in that league. And if you can balance him out and not put everything on his shoulders, I think you actually got a stronger offensive team once he gets the scheme of the offense down. You've got a better balanced team than you did even last year, whereas they were relying on quarterback play to take them through. So I think it really puts them in a better position, to be honest with you.
Interesting. And Aaron is 39. This was like a blowout. Like everybody was so excited. He was like, "Thank you," and then it was like, "Good night." So,
God bless. Good night.
God bless. Good night. Do you think he will have something still in the tank when he comes back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
He's far more, even coming back from the injury, he's going to be far more mobile than Tom Brady ever was. And he has a quick release. Aaron could probably play another 5 to 6 years, man, like easy, because of the way he get rid of the ball. But I do want to say this. I was watching the game, and I missed the early part when he got hurt. And so I came in and they replayed it, and I saw the tackles cut the end man on the line of scrimmage, which makes me believe he was supposed to get rid of the ball. And he did that 2 plays. So I didn't, I'm not an O-line, but I wish if I could go back, I would be an O-lineman, if I could pick my position. Yeah. So I was watching the Carlton show with Willie Colon, and he was discussing that too. And he said that was 2 plays where they dove to cut the man at the end of the line down, and Aaron held the ball. If he would have got rid of the ball like he was supposed to, man, he wouldn't have got hit. You know what I mean? So, it's some. And then he was out most of the season. Most of the preseason, they said he had a calf injury.
It was the same leg, same ankle injury. Yeah,
so,
same leg.
That's the same. That's all the same thing. So I don't know, man. It was a lot going on with that, but he should have got rid of the ball, though.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, smart money tells us that we got to listen to our bodies. Father Time is undefeated when you get to that age, and the ankle injury, feet injury. It all starts in the feet. I don't care how elite of an athlete you are. When you start having issues in your base, your foundation, everything changes. The feel, the look, and the thing I get concerned with Aaron is with the way he throws is a lot off the ground, so it requires him being in unorthodox positions. And, we know he has a killer arm. Like I said, he has a lot left in the tank from that perspective, but him being comfortable enough to be able to have enough trust in his feet again is going to be really the telltale sign as to if is he able to turn it through or not. I'm like you said, I saw he was supposed to, get rid of the ball quick, but for whatever reason, he wasn't feeling it, and he was going to immediately to his, second and third reads over and trying to, push something in, which we've seen in the past where he gets into that panic mode and turnovers happen. He's not as effective as he normally is. So, I don't think he was comfortable from the time he started, and probably which would have been a very lackluster opening performance. And we would have been, having a different conversation even now in terms of, does he still have it? Can he still do it? Because I didn't really feel like that, he felt the game from the very tip off. So it's down there.
And, it's interesting that you guys said he, the calf injury was the same leg, because when he went down, he tried to stand up and he looked, I guess, at his trainers. I don't know. And I guess they said it was that leg, and he shook his head, and they said sit down. So, it's just, I don't know. I wish him well. I'm thinking because he was going to the Jets, Chicago was going to have a better chance, but we'll talk about that later. But you know what? Don't do this, y'all. I'm not feeling well. Do not laugh at me. And speaking of Father Time, I only saw the injury. I was really sick that night. I was out of it. And then somebody called me. This guy called me. He was like, "You didn't watch the game?" And I was like, "No," and hung up on him. Like, it was 11 o'clock. I was so sick. But moving right along, I wish you well, Aaron Rodgers. I pray that he gets himself healed and back in the league, because we'll be waiting for you next season. Now, moving on from the biggest story in the NFL, we're going to move on to the biggest story in college football. Oh my gosh. We've been talking about Coach Prime for the last, 4 seasons now?
3, 4, yeah.
Yeah, 4 seasons. He has now left the SWAC and made his debut a couple of weeks ago in Fort Worth, Texas, against the TCU Frogs. Is it the Frogs? Yeah.
Horned Frogs, the
Horned
mighty
Frogs,
Horned Frogs. Yes.
Yeah, they wasn't mighty that day. They were.
No, he cut them things off.
They were. It's amazing when he walked in. They were booing him, and uh, Prime. He just walking through it like, no big deal. Let's do this. But they were ranked at the time, TCU, as number 17, and I predicted that they were going to at least win 5 games. We talked about this before, but TCU was not one of the games that I was expecting them to win. Did y'all expect that, or?
I'm gonna tell you, I actually did. Looking at TCU last year.
In the championship.
Yeah, when they played in the championship game, hell, I think Georgia's still scoring from that game. So,
Yeah.
but I saw a lot of what they were losing, and really saying to myself, yeah, they've got a nice mountain to climb this year. But looking at that game, and I watched it, I was one of the ones that tuned in because, like we've been talking about last 3 or 4 seasons, until you've had a chance to see Prime on the sideline in that environment, in that state, it is something different. It is something different. And, I don't think there was any doubt that he was going to succeed or shock some people this year with some wins. He was going to sneak some out. But I hope people are paying attention to the blueprint. And the blueprint means a lot. And, for a guy like him, his whole career as a player, baseball, football, he's thrived on that underdog mentality, that chip on his shoulder. It almost makes you focus and lock in for a lot. And his players have really taken on that persona of Prime that we've all known and seen all these years. So I think, now people will get a chance to see on the greater stage what we've been looking at for the last 3 or 4 years, in that there's absolutely something magical in that environment now. And, as long as he keeps cultivating and bringing it, man, he's going to do some good things there, I think.
I agree. Sid?
Yeah, I think, I thought TCU was going to win. But when I saw that 20-point spread, I was like, man, y'all act like they playing the same TCU team that was playing last year. But I thought TCU was going to win because they was going to put the ball on the ground and maul, Colorado, because that's what they don't have. And Deion's been making that. He's been saying that ever since, he said, hey, when I get my big boys, man got a tight end playing tackle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So somebody has to see that and be like, you can't. He has enough athletes at Colorado to where he's gonna hurt you in the first, second quarter. He's gonna get some points and all that kind of stuff. But if you leave it up to if you play a big boy, big man football with them, that's where they're gonna, in the fourth quarter, you're probably 9 yards a game if you lean on them in the first half.
Yeah.
But if you try to go athlete to athlete with them on the outside, that ain't gonna happen. I mean, they got better athletes than Georgia on the outside. They got better athletes, so I don't know, man. This Prime thing is different for me because I'm thinking like this, man. Prime put a lot of strain on everything around him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a bright light.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know how long he can do that. Like, how long can he can do it for the rest of his life. I mean, not him, but how long can the surroundings, his environment handle that light without him dimming theirs? You know what I mean? Like, at a certain point, the environment gonna change on him, because that's a lot, man.
That's interesting. Go ahead, Jay.
No. But I was going to say, but do you think it's the spotlight, or is it more around the expectations of the show, right? I think what we're seeing, and if you've ever had a chance, and saying you know this firsthand, but if you've ever played against a legendary figure, Steve Spurrier, Bobby Bowden, that same type show and that mentality is instilled into those teams, right?
Yeah.
It becomes part of the expectation when people walk into that stadium. They want to see that, right? And I think we're just seeing his version of it. It may be somewhat souped up, and like you said, it does put a lot of strain and spotlight on a lot of people. But I also think about how many deficiencies it hides, to be honest with you. Because people are going to be focusing on shutting him up so much that they won't focus on all the things that really make him vulnerable as well.
Yeah.
So it's quite ingenious.
It's kind of like what we're seeing right now with Alabama and Nick Saban. Like, man, Nick Saban has won so much there, and I ain't saying Deion's not, I'm not comparing him to Nick Saban, but Nick Saban has won so many championships that it was actually people calling Feinbaum this week trying to fire, literally want to fire like Nick Saban, bro. You know what I mean? So I wonder what's gonna happen when that happens, and it's gonna happen at some point. You know what I mean? They gonna, if he don't win a championship this year, because there's people believing that he's gonna go to the championship this year, and so, and Prime is a gaslighter. He's gonna like that. Oh yeah, championship. He gonna play all into that. But then when it don't happen, then what? You know what I mean?
I mean, well, their record was 1-11 last season. He's already won. They're 2-0. They're 2-0. And the Prime effect is definitely real. We saw that here.
Yeah.
We see it now. And just kind of like what you said, but you always saying people, how does Deion Sanders' instant success, does this increase pressure on the other coaches?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's going to expose a lot of what we see, and know that a lot of people have to get out of the politics of the game and get back to the game. Prime is basically saying, hey, I understand the product, I understand the game, and I'm going to put something out on the field that helps to glorify and elevate it. We know there are a lot of coaches that are playing the politics of it. They enjoy the pageantry, they enjoy the resources, they enjoy the everything that comes along with it. But when it comes to the X's and O's, they're lacking, and they've got to step themselves up, and I would be looking at it because, again, the expectations in Boulder may not have been that high, but when you walk in with a dude who has those expectations, now, if even I do fall short, I'm a hell of a lot better than where I thought I'd even be, and for them, that's a win for the most part. And I'd be looking at every hire that I've had in the last 2 or 3 years and saying to myself, hell, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah. Now, one thing I can say, the AD at Colorado, he's hired a brother in the last, I think Prime is his 4th hire, and he's hired a brother every time he's hired somebody. So I'm happy this is happening to him, but we saw this at Jackson State, man. When that man leaves, and he's gonna leave, when he leaves, it's a vacuum.
Yep.
So,
yes.
Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing to prepare yourself for that if you're Colorado? Because that's a bright light.
Yeah.
And we saw what it do when he leaves. He's not building a program, because if he was building a program, he would do more high school kids. What Matt Rule is doing in Nebraska. Matt Rule is building a program. Now these kids are coming to Colorado for Prime, period. So who's to say he's gonna coach past Shedeur being there? He might coach until what's the name leave? Travis. But if he leaves after Travis, I mean, he's recruiting kids coming in there right now.
Yeah.
You know, so those coaches are going to coach against that. I mean, they're going to coach. They're going to recruit against that.
But here's the thing that I think would make the difference, though. To be honest with you, I don't see Prime taking this show to the NFL level. I think you've already said that he can't handle the egos, right?
But they're going to ask. They're going to ask him.
Yeah, they're already probably asking. He's walked into a program that won one game last year and is paid right now as if he won a national championship last year. He is in the top 10% from a salary perspective of coaches at that level. The ceiling is not even existent right now for what he could leverage himself into doing, right? And like you said, he is the reason why a lot of people are coming there. But the difference, I think, now is the fact that they have a reason to stay there as well. You think about the staff, the people, the coaches, and everything that didn't end up getting their flowers when they were at a J State. Now it's starting to pay off for them. Now they're starting to see their own opportunities flourish, and they have now better equipped to offer people what they really came to this thing to do, and that's an opportunity to win and take care of your family. And then it's graduate, unfortunately. But when you have all of that and you put it in a package for people, the conversation is much different, right? It's a hell of a lot different, but and everybody right now is trying to figure out, I would love to play for that coach who treats that number one cat on the roster the same as he treats number 101, right? And as long as I understand that you care about me in that regard as a parent, hell yeah, you can have my son. Hell yeah, you can have my daughter, right? So
because they will run through a wall for him.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah,
they will run through a wall because he genuinely loves the kids. And we were talking about what he's going to do after this. It's like he's built a model of how, I don't know what, it's just like some type of model. He goes, like you said, the blueprint. He's going from school to school, and it's just like, does he go to another school after this? I mean, what does he do after this? I don't know. Could he be an advisor on a team? I mean, because he already said he did not want to coach NFL because he didn't want to coach millionaires. He said it's different mindset. But I wonder, would he do it if he could go coach on, when Shedeur makes it to the NFL, if he can go coach on Shedur's team?
That would be one of the only ways that I think he would make it. But think of this. Think of it like this. All right. So we went to schools that don't need attention. Like our schools, you went to Notre Dame, LSU, say Alabama, right? Prime biggest thing is marketing. Like he can come in and market. Alabama already get talent. You know what I mean? So they'll have the same type talent that he's getting right now. When I say he would stress the core, like the boosters, the resource. Imagine a booster coming in that's used to having his way with the program. And he's gonna come in and tell Prime, you're gonna do it the way I want you to do it. Prime's too big for that. Like you can't tell him, because he knows when he come in, he is your program. Like Colorado, he is Colorado's program right now. So it's kind of it's gonna be hard for him to go to a big program. Like when they said Auburn was looking at him, nah, them folks are like, nah, because they like, they get that money, they want to control it.
Right, but that was part of the problem when he was here, because like you say, he is the program. He's bigger than that, and he knows it. But at the same time, he has to remember, you're the employee. And it's hard.
That ain't in his mindset though.
But it doesn't make any sense to him, because he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's not in his mindset.
It's not in his mindset at all. Well, how can you go to these schools and kind of take over. But I guess if you're winning, but it didn't happen at Jackson State, and you know that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and the reason why I say I hope people are paying attention to the blueprint, because I think that's exactly what we got to look at in terms of his next move,
absolutely.
right? Because I don't see him staying on the field for that much longer, right?
Me neither.
But do I see him moving into athletic director,
That's
some
what
of
I'm
these
saying.
other,
Exactly.
conference?
Mhm.
You have to have that ability to think outside the box if you want to truly change things, right?
Right.
You're talking about somebody who has a mindset that, yes, I'm not going to be told what to do when I know what I'm talking about, but I
Yeah.
think he has enough common sense to say, but there's another part of this that I may not know as much. And
Absolutely.
like you said, when that booster does come in and say, hey, yeah, I want to do things your way, I think he can at least have enough clout and ability to sit down with them and say, I hear what you're saying. Let me get the W's on the field. We can negotiate on the other side, and let's meet each other somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah.
We don't have visibility to that conversation, but the one thing that we know is that he plays on people's egos and ability all the time, right? And as long as those boosters are getting those W's and they are in the news and they are on Sports Center and they are in commercials and he is bringing that pride to them, they are going to love the brand new gear that he's going to put out, right? And that swag bag becomes that much bigger and that much more important to those boosters because that's the ego that he strokes.
I don't know, man. It's one school, and I'll tell you this after we get off. It's one school where the biggest booster, was like, nah, I'm him here. Like, we don't need me and him here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already him, and their egos weren't gonna match up. And I'll tell y'all about that when we get off. But
Yeah, I can believe it. I can believe it.
yeah,
But
Okay.
hey, but let him go head to head with him and get embarrassed.
that's
Okay.
gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. I think I know who you're talking about too. But yeah,
People would rather rule over the ashes than
yeah.
That's true.
Ego.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, Shador Sanders, his son, and Travis Hunter, his other son, they both played for Colorado. And Shador, he got about I know he had 500 yards the first game. He got about 1,000 yards the last two games.
More than the output of Colorado last year.
Absolutely. Even if it was 3 yards. You're right. So do you see Shador and Travis being front runners for the Heisman?
I mean, you got to put Shador up there.
Yeah.
First of all, Heisman equal quarterback. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? 9 times out of 10. So who do you have in front of him right now?
Caleb, that's it.
Caleb, maybe, yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
And so they're gonna get a chance to head to head. They're gonna, so I would say he's a front runner right now.
Yeah. And I think, I'm an anti-Heisman. Well, I ain't gonna say anti-Heisman. I'm not as stoked about Heisman races and all that stuff, being the best college player, and all that stuff these days. Because it's the award and the accolades, I think, are just not as pure as they once were. So it's a matter of where we are with the game, the numbers and everything else. But when you talk about influence to their teams and their influence to the game and winning at the same time, yeah, you got to put those two in the race. I mean, I think Travis, I noticed how many snaps he was taking, and I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, that's a lot of snaps, And we go back to your, Chris Gamble's, as Ohio State, Wood, who did it at Michigan. I mean, they'll tell you, man, you start surpassing like that 80 snap number, and your body gets worn down over time. But that to me looks like it's more of a, when I talk about that most valuable players and Heisman purists and all that other stuff, I mean, that stuff means a lot to a team overall when you've got that level of impact over both sides of the field.
And you do know, Travis was doing that at Jackson State as well.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
lot of, and that's the deal. You know, everybody was like, not everybody, but a lot of PWIs were saying they didn't think that they were going to do well coming from an HBCU, and especially the SWAC. But they showed them they can play in any arena. And just like Shadur said, stop bringing up the different conferences. It don't have nothing to do with it, because y'all told me I couldn't play, but now everybody want to praise me. I was doing this, and he said I was doing this at Jackson State.
But that boy said, I ain't throw this for this many yards when I was at HBCU.
Right.
But that goes back to the conversation we had on our last, I don't know if that was our last, that might have been our last podcast we did together. When I said, like, dude, I wasn't even the best player in my house, much less in my street. But people don't understand that, man. They think, you know, just because you was able to make it to the NFL or you was able to make it to college, there's some cats that played in junior college with me. That was the best athletes I'd ever played with in my life. I still ain't seen none better. And that's going all the way through the NFL.
Wow.
So, you know,
it's just opportunity.
Yeah, it's just opportunity. You know, you might have missed, something might have happened the day that somebody was supposed to see you and you ain't get your chance to do it. But as far as like being the greatest, a great athlete, I don't know why they doubted Travis, because he was the number one player coming out of high school.
High school, yeah. He's been doing it. He's been doing it.
It's amazing, but I also love it. I'm gonna move away from them. I think the next day after the first game, it was reported Tom Brady texted Shadur and was like, "Don't get comfortable."
Yeah,
he was like, "Don't.
Absolutely.
This is nothing. Keep moving." And just to get that from the best quarterback of all time, that's amazing. I mean, I know he's been teaching them, but that's amazing to get that.
But you know what, man? If like I say this, I text on that day during the after the game, I put on Facebook. I said, "Hey, my biggest worry is this: they gonna build Colorado up and Prime and all that because of his mouth. They gonna build him up, and he's gonna go out and win 7-8 games, and then they gonna crucify him, as if 7-8 games ain't a Super Bowl for him this year." But I put after the game, I said, "Hey, you know what I mean? They won that game, but that wasn't big boy football. Like that ain't gonna, ain't gonna do. It's a good win. Colorado should be jumping off the ceiling fan, celebrate. But for the media, I put specifically to the media and people that really don't understand sports, don't build this man up and then try to crucify him if he get to 7-8 wins, because that is a Super Bowl. But they expecting them to go out and play Georgia right now. And that just, I mean, it's his first year.
Yeah.
Now, if he did it, I mean, I have to wait and see it. But I don't know, man. I'm more pragmatic. I'm that's the only thing me and Tom Brady gonna be like. Like if somebody do something well and it's early in the process, like my daughter in tennis tonight, she was balling at tennis practice. And we got in the car. She was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna beat them kids down." I'm like, "You ain't played nobody, man. Come on."
That's you. But you know that's you though. That's you talking.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
But yeah, that bring up a real good point though. I mean, you have to understand, for one, your ability, in terms of your confidence and everything else, but also, who you're playing to. And I think a telltale sign for, good and great teams, or the difference between good and great teams, a lot of times is when you're playing against competition that may not necessarily be up to par.
Right.
You not play down to that level, and I think our expectation, was that he'd come in and he'd do his thing, him and Travis and all those guys that came out of the SWAC. It's a matter of when you saw that you were obviously playing against kids who weren't as talented as you, physically, did you take advantage of that and still elevate your game to show why you should be there, so. And I think they're doing that, and that's the trick bag. You got to make sure that you remain humble and remain hungry, because without it, you just be another player. So
that's true.
I want to say it's a good thing Travis and Shadur said it too, but he was like, "Hey man, ain't really no difference between the receivers and the corners and all that stuff from HBCU football to and everybody." everybody that play football know that. The difference is in them big guys up front. That's the main difference. But you got some of the best corners and DBs to ever play the game come from SWAC schools. And so, yeah, so I that's the good part about it. I love that, man. And I want to see him destroy some more people. But I also want to see him get his big boys in there too. And, you know.
Well, the Buffs play on Saturday. They play Colorado State. The Buffs, do you think they'll be 3-0 with this meeting?
They will. They will. They will. I mean, that's right now the luxury, and you got to realize going out to, the Pac-12, there's opportunity. There's opportunity all the way around, and I think it's not until you get into that USC part of his schedule, the Oregon part of his schedule, that you really start to see a lot of those teams come with a different package than you saw with, Nebraska and all those other guys. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when they get to that portion of their schedule, because I'm curious, because you do have some freakishly great athletes that aren't the DBs, safeties, and receivers. And when you talk about freakish athletes that are now D linemen and O linemen, it changes the complexity of the game now. It changes when the big bodies start flying around you, man. It will bring a whole different perspective for you when you're sitting on that field.
You would know that, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
We're moving on down. We're gonna come down. A lot of people are calling Colorado Jackson State West, but we're gonna come Jackson State South. I'm like, it's only 8 players on the team from Jackson State, but go for it.
Rock it.
Huh?
I said they can rock it. They're gonna still rock it.
They're still rocking. As you know, JSU has been on the road, oh my gosh, for the last 3 weeks, and we will be in week 4 headed to San Marcos, Texas to take on Texas State. What are your thoughts on the last 3 games? I'm going to start with you said by the Tigers, and how do you think they're playing against Texas State this weekend?
I'm going to start with Texas State. I think it's going to be rough.
I really wish you would not, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's going to be rough on them, man. I mean, they building a program too, man, but they got the quarterback that was at LSU. Big dude. He get the ball out of his hands.
6'7".
Yeah, huge dude. Yeah.
He's huge. Yeah.
Hey, but one thing about Jackson State though, they do get after the passer, so we're gonna see. But I went to the first game against South Carolina State. It was beautiful. I mean, they were flying around the field, and but when we was walking out, like I said, I'm a pessimist. Everybody like, "Ooh, Jackson State gonna do it." I said, "Man, South Carolina didn't have any film. You'll know after the next 2 games." Then they went to FAM and they lost, but I didn't feel like that was a bad. I mean, it was a bad loss, but I didn't feel like they were a bad team because of that loss, because it just spiraled downhill so fast.
Exactly. Had they, because they shut our defense shut FAMU down the second half. So had they the defense got into the game earlier, we probably would have won that game.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good, but it started unraveling, and it's hard to bounce back. So I was still high on them once we got out of there, and then they went down and did what they did at Southern. So man, I think TC is doing a great job, man.
Yeah.
I don't. Besides the quarterback, I did like the other quarterback a little bit better when he came in against. When he came in against FAM.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a reason why TC, they had practice every day. It's a reason why they put him on, the other guy on the field. So, It
was like Jason was like running in slow motion with FAM game. I don't know what was going on with him, but I'm like, and I even put on my page, Facebook page, after the game against South Carolina, I'm like, y'all do, it was a great game. It was exciting to see, but y'all do realize they got 3 new coordinators at South Carolina. Most of the kids are freshmen, and they were 3-8 last season. And then Coach, he said he was retiring 2 days before the game, so he really didn't care no more. So it was just, I mean, I wanted to see the gauge between FAMU and Jackson State.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you on that. I got a cough. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I agree. I like what TC's doing. And I love the fact that we're not working so hard to try and erase a legacy, but he's really
Right.
building on that momentum that he had. And I'm always gonna be a fan of homegrown taking over, kind of instilling your footprint, bringing back what you know
Absolutely.
from a tradition, from an environmental perspective. Um, and now it's got to be up to a lot of these guys who are out there pulling the trigger, to mentally keep themselves locked in, um, because it's very easy to fall into again everything that everybody enjoys about college football, especially when you win it, the pageantry, the excitement, the environment of it all. Um, and sometimes when you get to the point where you're out in different places and doing some different things and you treat it a little bit differently, sometimes you start to believe it too, right? And I think you see that especially in the quarterback play. I'm gonna say it's inconsistent. I like what I was seeing, especially when they played South Carolina State. I mean, again,
Mhm.
dropping dimes, making all the right throws, making all the
Yeah.
right reads. But again, what happens when you get that first knock upside the head or that first knock
Yeah.
down? Can you get up and recover, right? And I
Right.
think he saw that there were some issues there, with his man Brown. So the other kid came back in, and he was a little had a shorter memory when it
Yeah.
came to a lot of that
Mhm.
stuff. And I would hope that what we'll see this week will be the fact that everybody kind of feels like, hey, yeah, we all got pads, we all got helmets. Let's just go play.
Let's
Let
just
it
go.
let it loose and go play. But I like what TC's doing here, man. It's it's
I
it's
do
going to
too.
be fun. Yeah.
I do too. And I love it's a couple of players that I got my eye on. Irv Mulligan. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
That's one of my favorite players this season. Anthony Hunt with the 73 yards last week with the touchdown. Um, what's the young man? BJ Jones.
Okay.
No, BJ Jones is Washington. I'm sorry. That's actually one of my best friends. That's her cousin. He
The
with the
tight end.
huh?
The tight end.
Yeah, with the interception.
Oh
Uh,
no.
no, not the tight end. What does he play? She told me. Hold on. I'm keep going, y'all. But yeah,
Yeah.
and of course DJ Stevenson. Let's see. He plays. I forgot. I can't find it because it's a bunch of foolishness we text. But go ahead, Sid. Go ahead, Sid.
They have a squad, man. Like you can see the talent all over the field. I'm interested to see what Seven is going to do. I know they're working them back in kind of slow. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but one of the things that I like, so everybody know you might see me with an LSU hat, a JSU shirt, and a Clemson uh, koozie. You know what I mean? But everybody's like, man, what JSU gonna do now? I said, man, the best thing that ever happened was Dion came and showed you the light that can be shined. Dion is
Mhm.
one person,
What do
but
we mean? What are we gonna do now? We're gonna keep playing football. We're gonna keep growing. I mean, I get what people are saying, but it pisses me
yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah. But I was like, hey, but now the fan base, like Dion brought a lot of resources, right? I mean, a ton. And now the fan base is, I said, man, you got Jack State got, I don't know, 60 some thousand living alumni. And I was like, man, if you can get 100,000 people to give $50 a year, I
fifty
mean, that's
dollars.
good. Yeah, good money.
And
Now,
people don't realize that. And I'm
yeah,
not to cut you off. When I was interning with Jackson State, remember in 2013 when we played against Grambling and Grambling did not come to the game for our homecoming? Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah,
People were asking for their money back. The tickets were like $23.
yeah,
I'm like, y'all. At that time, I think
Just keep.
I mean, baby, I think at that time the season tickets were like $50, y'all, $75. I'm like, even if you don't come to a game, we spend that on lunch and dinner in one day.
mm-hmm,
One day. I'm like, and just if 50, I'm talking about $50, we will be, it will help so much. It will help the program so much.
Yeah.
And it disappointed me so bad. Our mentality has to change when it comes to that type of stuff. You want to come to the games, I love, I have a friend gonna spend $300 a night for a loft for homecoming. He just texted me today, $300. And people are tripping about $50. I don't understand.
Hey, but see, this is the deal, man. It's low self-esteem. Jackson
You're right.
State is our best chance to have anything in Jackson. It's the biggest economic engine that we have in the city of Jackson.
Yeah.
If Jackson State had 1 million people, right? I think the endowment at Jackson State is $60-some million.
Mm-hmm.
If you had 1 million people to give $50, I'm like, bro, that's $50 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Period.
easy. I would give
And we
$50 at every HBCU in the country, especially in Mississippi.
Yep.
If we can get 1 million people to just give, that 50 to
And
each,
then we can be way more competitive.
Yeah.
Way more competitive. But like you say, it's low self-esteem. The mentality is totally different, and we have to do better as HBCUs and as a people. We have to do. I totally agree. Jay, were you about to say anything?
No, I was going to say, man, it kind of goes back to the whole gladiator games and the mentality of the mob. I mean, you got to be entertaining for one, and yet you got to be, tenacious on the other side of it. But understanding that, sometimes quick kills don't always get you that excitement that you need, so a lot of what people want is to have that buzz and that excitement and around it, because that makes them feel like they're part of something too,
Yeah.
And that's the part of it that, again, we got to get to the point where we're supporting it rather than just picking it apart.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Well, we're going to move back to the NFL. We're going to talk about a couple of games that went on this past Sunday. I was thinking, well, Cedric. I was thinking, you used to play for them, so be quiet. I was thinking, hey, Jackson State, we won. Even though it was a non-conference game, beating Southern is still beating Southern, period. I mean, I don't care. So I'm thinking, my Bears, we're going to do this. We're playing Packers. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Cedric, we lost 38-20. Tell me what happened.
Hey, man, love to beat y'all, man. Like, hey, man.
Don't make me cough.
At this time, man, I mean, he did his time. He sat behind Aaron Rodgers. And a lot of people don't like that, but Aaron did it with Brett Favre. I just think it worked, man. If you're the right type player and you take your time and you use that time to develop, I just think it works, man. And so, I mean, I know he probably hadn't started like Fields. Fields came right in and started. But I think you got another 4 or 5 years, man, before he get his feet up under him, man. Yeah. I mean, not another. I think it's going to take 5 years, for him to get his feet up under him. So I think that's the difference, though, between the two.
Okay.
Yeah, he needs stability. So Justin needs some stability, some development, and again, I think he got enough weapons around him. But, that's the problem a lot of times, is that, we'll load up all the weapons and we expect instant results to go in. But, I think we saw an obvious difference between a system that's, kind of cultivated, Jordan Love, and then, of course, what we've got when we've thrown Justin into it. I think, physically the talent is no question that Justin is a better athlete. But at the same time, when we talk about playing QB in that league, it's more than just being an athlete, and you can tell. So I was impressed with Love's, performance. I didn't expect that from him, to be honest with you. I thought he would have a little bit of a hesitation on his trigger, but he was very confident, very, very confident in throwing that. So
I listened to his teammates talk about him, and it was like, man, he's never up, he's never down. He just always even keel. And that's a sign of that's what a quarterback got to have, bro. Yeah. You got that. So it was good. I hate to see y'all go down like that, but you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I'll say y'all now because of course I'm a Cowboy fan. So
this week.
Okay.
I'll be hating them next week when they
Speaking of them, Cowboys they did the doggone thing Sunday. Was it Sunday?
Yeah.
I've been sick.
Not-
Dallas versus Giants, 40-0. Now, I mean, it's the Giants, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Jay start. I know that's your team, but I'm gonna let Jay start on this one.
Look, I'm gonna tell you this much.
Huh?
I'm gonna tell you this much. I was, I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. I ain't gonna lie. I did not
didn't either.
expect that. But at the same time, I think I was more disappointed with the Giants' performance coming out, especially offensively, than I was more impressed with the Cowboys' defensive performance. I think their defense was remnant of, what was it, the Black Cloud days, or the Dark Star, what did they call the Cowboys defense? I forget what it's called, but those cats flew around. I mean, and those safeties and those DBs, man, I mean, they were out for blood. And I think that's a matter of what they're able to do up front and not give people the time that they need. Because I mean, hell, the Giants O-line could not do anything with the Cowboys D-line. I'm talking about inside, outside. They couldn't chip. They couldn't. Evan Neal couldn't even get out of his stance before he had two stars rolling around him. Man, it was almost hilarious, and we weren't used to seeing that from a Giants team. So, kudos to the Cowboys for being ready and prepared. Now, offensively, I do have some concerns for the Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
And I know Mike is back calling plays, but it all is going to start with Dak. It's going to start and end with Dak, and even seeing some of the decisions he was making, he wasn't as sure about where he wanted to go with it, and some of the things just worked out. You can tell, but I think maybe that's going to be one of those projects that we start to see the momentum kick in mid to late season, and that may be when they need it the most. But as long as that defense is playing that way, offensive performance ain't gonna matter very much.
Hey, man, Michael Parsons is the Lord of football. Hey, man, he is the Lord of football, bro. Like, I think Michael Parsons, man, he's the Lord.
No, I just wanted to say he was the one here.
Lord.
The Lord.
Yeah, the Lord
of football.
Hey, bro, that man was built, designed, programmed, everything to play football, bro. And he don't really have a position. I don't know if you saw this play. Well, it was a couple plays. The man got double teamed. That's why couldn't nobody else block anybody. He got double teamed he's by 250, something up in there. He got double teamed by 300 pounders, and he picking both of them up and he walking them back into the quarterback's lap. Like, dude, that's a horrible lesson. And he been saying all summer, he been telling the Cowboys, hey, I'm gonna get me a Super Bowl. So basically what he's saying is, y'all better help me get it, or I'm going somewhere else to get it.
He's like, I'm not playing with y'all.
Yeah, he ain't playing with him. He told Dak that. So he's our spiritual leader, everything, man. So he even got me being a fan again, bro. Like, I can't believe it.
He's our spiritual leader.
He's our spiritual leader, man. Like, for real. Yeah. So, I mean, it was good, man. I didn't expect the Cowboys to do that, man, because I'm still jaded. I'm a Cowboys fan. So I was expecting the Giants to come back with 5 minutes left in the game to beat the Cowboys. Dak was going to throw 12 picks. So, but I think what happened when the lady asked Dak before the game, so last year you led the pick. Did you see that? Was she?
I didn't see it.
She was pushing, wasn't she? She was pushing.
Right before the game started, she said, so last year you led the league in picks. And I was like, why would you ask that man that right before the game started, right?
Well, he gave her that side eye, like,
hey, like,
trying to get in his head. What was that about?
Yeah. But I don't know, man. Maybe that gave the team the push. I don't know. It was just good to see it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, I'm happy for you. Dallas is my secondary team, so I was not mad about it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's the Giants, so I want to see I'm ready to see what they're gonna do.
I'm kind of worried about these Jets this week, though, for real.
Who did I play?
The Jets.
Oh,
And
we play the Jets.
Yeah.
I mean, not we, y'all.
Yeah, it's we this week because you ain't got to chip.
We.
Jamie, don't make me laugh, y'all. For real.
She said she's gonna stay on that Bears bandwagon for a little bit. She's gonna ride.
I've been since I was 5 years old. I'm tired of being loyal. But I don't even. I mean, Dallas is my second team, but I don't even know where I would want to go. That's weird.
Just be a nomad like me, man. Only go back to your team when they
do some good stuff. Yeah.
Even and Detroit is looking pretty good too.
Yeah,
they are. They are.
Oh my gosh! And that's my other rival. I'm sick of this. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Whatever. Well, guys,
you can still beat Minnesota.
That is true.
You know what?
We like that. We like that. We like that.
Remember, real quick, I don't know if y'all used to watch SpongeBob back in the day, but when he would get sick, he said he had the suds. That's what I got, suds. Man, when I get off this call, I'm going to make me a hot toddy with this Firefly, and I'm going to bed. So, guys, it's
girl, we may have to send you some Dominic's Memphis toddy. That'll change the game for you.
What is that? Can you get it for me?
Yeah, I'll have to share it with you. I'll share it with you.
Okay, we'll talk tomorrow.
Hey, I do want to say this before we I'm trying to make a deal with Jay, man, to come get his coach from LSU and take him back.
No returns. No refunds. No refunds.
He done sucked all the coach out of LSU, man. We over here Notre Dame up and down now, man. I don't know what we doing over there, man.
Oh, y'all, let's get Fred on the show so we can talk about that. He said LSU is Notre Dame up and down. Please. I'm gonna text him. I'm like, Fred, what's up? But yeah, come and get your guy. And then Notre Dame just had no mercy on TSU and Eddie George a couple of weeks ago. That was pretty mean.
I mean, it has to be done. That has to be done. Has to be handled.
I knew he was getting a check, but
they were taken care of. They were taken care of. So it's Look, we black on black. Look, I'm gonna blame. That was a Buckeye crime right there.
Lord, hey man, I like what he's doing up there, though, man. I like old friend.
Yeah. Coach. I'm ready for him to get into the season now. Look, we didn't done the cute stuff, and
which I did the cute stuff.
We didn't done the cute stuff. I didn't sat on the calls, and I support him. I love him. I love what he said, but now I'm ready for the dog fights. So I'm ready to see how these cats react in the dog fights.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I know I sound like a dude, but whatever. Let's play our game. Shut up, Sid. You can get with this or you can get with that. And what that is, my voice was deeper than it says today. And what that is, for the listeners and myself to get to know the guests better, I'll ask a few questions and you choose the ones that best fit you. Would you rather have more time or more money? Dang, y'all.
In what context is that? We talking about in general or? No, I'm gonna take time. I'm gonna say time. Give me time. Yeah. Give me time.
Time, yeah. Would you rather listen to classic music, and that could be hip hop, LL Cool J, or whatever, or music from today?
Classic.
Yeah, give me classic. Absolutely. Content, quality.
Yes. Would you rather go deep sea diving or bungee jumping?
Woo!
I did the bungee jump, so I'm a bungee jump.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're a thrill seeker? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got a little problem with it.
Were you afraid? Was it scary? Adrenaline.
It was only scary when I thought about if the rope didn't catch. But
Exactly.
when I blocked that out, it was fun because I was confident that the rope was gonna catch her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jay,
Stuck.
you've been looking up in
Look,
the air for about 2
um, Look, I'm sitting here going through the scenarios because I got a problem with whales and all that stuff, and so so. But then I'm a big brother too, so I ain't quite got enough confidence in this cord yet. So
And you should be dead by the time you hit the water. That's where I'll be at. Like, hopefully. If a whale gonna eat my corpse, though.
Man, look, oh my God, look, I was.
Well, since you put it that way, I've been scuba diving before, and I was tripping with the school of fish on my leg. So how am I gonna do deep diving?
And you don't know what's down there, bro.
I don't want to do either.
Damn megalodons.
Would you rather go to the movie or to dinner alone? I love going to the movies alone sometimes.
I love going to dinner alone too, because it's a cheap ticket.
Well, okay. I usually go to dinner with somebody, so it's always
Yeah. So
no.
I would say a
love-
movie alone though.
Yeah, I love going to the movies. Depending, especially if it's like a movie I really want to see and I don't want to talk to nobody. Yeah. Would you rather meet?
Jeez.
Doctor.
Would you rather meet George Washington or the current president?
Let me go back to George. I got some. I got
I say we got some things to talk about, George. Look, we started this thing a little bit off
That's
us.
why I was joking.
Yeah, look, forget that cherry tree. No, we got some other things we need to discuss. Fuck that. No, I'm sorry.
Put George on the right path, man.
Yeah, look, give me George. Let's go back. Hell.
Yeah, let's go to George. Would you rather keep your current first name or change it?
Oh no, I'll keep my name. I love it.
I gotta keep my name. I don't love it, but I'm just gonna keep it because that might change something else. I don't know no grown Cedrics, man. When I was young, I ain't know no grown
I
Cedrics.
know, like my friend, her name is Keisha. I've never met a baby Keisha. Never. Have y'all ever met a baby Keisha? Ever?
I actually have. Yes.
I've never.
Yes.
As a grown up,
No, she was 12 when we met, but I've never met like a baby Keisha. Come here, little Keisha. Never, ever, ever.
Yeah.
I probably ain't never said that before in my life. Now I grew up with a Keisha, that but I don't remember ever like. Yeah, I have.
Well, with my name, because when I was younger, my sister name is Stephanie. My brother is the third. He's Glenn Charleston the third, but we call him Chucky. So their names were very common, and I used to cry. I'm like, why did you name me Sonia? But now I freaking love it because I'm totally different. It's not a lot of Sonia, especially spelled like my name. So S-O-N-J-A. I love that. So
Yeah, I be calling you Sanjay all the time.
yeah,
Banja.
Would you rather keep your current? Oh, I already did that. For your birthday, would you rather receive cash or gifts? I want gifts.
I don't know. I'm more cash.
I mean, no, that's
I really don't. I have a hard time accepting anything. Like I'm a terrible acceptor of gifts.
Damien is too.
Yeah. It's horrible. It's horrible.
It's been
It's,
times
it's debilitating. It's really debilitating.
said that we would be trying to go and do something for him. Everybody was like, "You seen Jamie?" And he believed.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, I'm at home." I'm like, "You buster," and it's so weird.
I don't know what it is, man, but it's yeah.
Why do you do that?
I don't know.
That's I did not receive. I love going out. Would you rather have nosy neighbors or noisy neighbors?
Nosy.
Yeah,
I'm into my nosy neighbors. I appreciate my nosy neighbors now. So
now that I got something that I want to keep.
yeah.
Right. That's true. It's the HOA treasurer where I live. She's so sweet. But when I first met her, the first day, she said, "Oh, the first day I moved in, oh, I thought I heard the garage." I said, "Miss Kravitz," is what I said. So y'all know this Miss Kravitz from Bewitched. I was like, But we're really cool. I love her. Would you rather travel the U.S. and see the sights in a motorhome or by plane?
I love motorhomes.
Yeah, give me the drive. Yeah. Give me the motorhome. I'm all about seeing and experiencing and seeing people on the ground. I love that.
Yeah, I'm motorhome.
I remember when Ed and I, when we was working for, what's the company we used to work? I can't even think.
Electronic caregiver.
Caregiver, yeah. We were in that RV and we went to Huntsville in it. Oh my gosh! And that was what, like $500,000. That was a house.
Yeah.
So freaking nice. It was beautiful.
You know, that's how we used to travel with all 7 of us.
Oh, I know, to the games. I remember. I used to be so jealous. They would take the RV to Dallas games. It was like, they are so. Oh, it was a beautiful RV too. Last but not least, would you rather run a 5K or take a hot yoga class? I chose this one because, Jameion, you go first. I want to hear what he had to say. Would you rather run a 5K or take a hot yoga class?
Give me that hot yoga class. That's what I'm talking about. Look, and as long as I can pick my attire, give me hot yoga all day.
Have you taken a hot yoga before?
I have, yes.
Okay, and please have on bottoms, sir.
No. Bottoms are optional. Optional. You hear me? And if y'all make me put on the bottoms, look, I'm gonna have to go with like the 7-inch shorts. I'm talking about, like, straight up tennis shorts, ripped up the side.
Have on 1970 NBA shorts.
Absolutely. That's with that real thin, flimsy runner's material. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do the 5K, man, because my hot yoga class destroyed me.
Yeah, I don't like that's too. I'm gonna do the 5K.
I was the only dude in there, and everybody else was looking at me like I was weak. And it was embarrassing, man.
Oh yeah, you get judged in yoga. Yeah, you get judged. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it's a character builder.
Y'all so silly. Guys, as usual, it has been a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next month. And guys, you can follow me on Facebook at She Say Sports, Instagram She Say Sports 23, and please subscribe to our YouTube page, She Say Sports. I'll be feeling better next year, next week.
Ooh, next year. Look, we're gonna get the WW Hot Toddy 44 with this one.
Grand opening, grand closing.
What did you say?
Grand opening, grand closing. See y'all next week.
Damn. Until next time, this is Sonia with She Say Sports. Y'all are nuts.